Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be playing with a super cute little pumpkin stamp, and I'm going to show you how to make a Halloween card. But before we get started, real quick reminder, there's still time to join us for our live class this month. It's going to be mixed media with Juliana Michaels. You are going to learn some things about mixed media that, if you are apprehensive about it, will help you through the process. It's going to be so fun. I hope you join us. Click for more details. Remember, you can pay what you can. All right, so let's jump into this card. This was so fun to make. I don't know why I don't make more Halloween cards. I just love the colors and it's just so fun. But anyway, in a last recent video, maybe you came here from that video, I colored up those pumpkins. So if you want to see how I colored those, you can click the video in the description box below or hang out until the end screen and you'll see it pop up there. But I wanted to finish off this card and have just some fun with some masking in a little bit different way. Using the sentiment as the focal point. So I have some watercolor cardstock here. Now that's pretty important for this technique. I'm also going to be using anti-static powder so that when I'm doing my heat embossing, I'm not getting a lot of strays. And I like to keep my anti-static powder in this little bamboo little powder thing. It comes empty. You pour your powder in there. I love it. It works beautifully and it's pretty. And you know, that's just what I want. Just pretty. And don't get powder all over my fingers either. So I'm going to stamp this in some VersaFine Nocturne ink, which is pigment, which means it's going to stay sticky for me so that I can put this clear embossing powder over it. I want to do that because I love the look of an embossed sentiment on my cardstock. It is waterproof ink though, so I don't have to emboss it. It won't mix in when I start adding water to it. It'll be fine. However, I just like the look of that, so you can see that shine at the end there. All right, the next thing that we're going to do for this is I'm going to stamp out the same sentiment onto masking paper. I'm using rock, paper, scissors removable sticker sheets. They come in an abundance of pack, but they're really super affordable compared to other masking paper that you might see. If you don't know if you're going to be using masking a lot, probably maybe you go for the craft brand. It sells it in less amount, although overall it's cheaper to buy them like this. I'm also not a fan of just having stuff just to have stuff. So keep that in mind when you're doing your shopping. I'm going to cut that out and cover up the trick or treat. And I'm going to use my anti-static powder again because I'm going to be doing some heat embossing again with this time white embossing. I like to use white embossing powder even though my cardstock is quote unquote white because the white embossing powder makes it super white. This is watercolor cardstock, so it's not as bright white as some of the other cardstocks that I have. So that's why, if you're curious, why did I choose white embossing powder over clear? That's the reason for this. So I'm going to aggressively stamp that twice so that I get a good image. I'm going to remove my masking. I would say leave the masking paper on, pour the powder, then remove the masking paper. I think that's a better sequence of events. I happened to get a little bit of a stray powder on my trick or treat, which was fine. I just brushed it away. So now here comes the super fun part. I have a craft mat here. I could use my contact paper sheet there on the right. You see that on my mat? I could have just used that, but I didn't. So I'm going to put down some Villainous Potion, Villainous, the purple, in the Distress Oxide, and some black. And now as I dip it in, you're going to see it's resisting. The cobweb is being resisted and I'm getting this really cool background. If for nothing else, this is just really fun to do. So I get my first layer here and I kept this in real time so you can see what I'm doing. But I am going to go ahead and dry that just a little bit so that when I go back in and add some more color, it's not continuously mixing with the wet ink that was on there. Now it's dried and it's going to layer a little bit better. And so I'm going to go back in, and that's a really soft, subtle look if you want to keep it at that. But I wanted to go for a little bit darker of a background. This also gives a lot of mixed media vibes, which is another reason why I'm plugging that class if you want to join us. I do classes monthly, and that's probably my most requested class. And since I don't know anything about mixed media, I decided to call in an expert. That's why Julianne is joining us, and you're going to learn so much. Anyway, all right, back to this card. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I like the black look. I still do something else here for this card and add more black around the edge. And I love it. I think it was super fun to do. The resist technique for embossing, with heat embossing, is probably one of the most magical things because you can't see anything until you start adding ink to it. And it's just so fun. I'm going to go around and add a little bit of black ink just around the edges of this. I probably could have done without it, but I do like how it gives even more of a glow to the center because it's drawing your eye in. Now, here's a pro tip for your coloring. When you color, you see how I have that white line from the cardstock there? After I cut them out. Well, you take a black marker, I like to use my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and you hold it the way that I'm holding it, off a frame apparently, but you hold it with the image, the colored image facing up, and you outline the entire image. It's going to give you a lot cleaner of a look. So even if you made a little bit of a mistake when you were cutting, you're not going to see it as much. It cleans it up quite a bit. Hold it in this way, because if you hold it the opposite way, if your marker slips, you're going to draw on your image. If your marker slips now, it's going to draw on the back of your image, which mine did quite a bit. So just keep that in mind when you're holding. Hold it so that the colored image is facing up. All right, so I go through and I finish that, and then I'm trying to figure out how do I want to lay out these little cuties. Again, if you want to see how I colored them, you can check out the video for that as well. I talk about 2 different markers that you can use to color up these images. So I'm going to start putting my card together here, and the first thing I'm going to do is realize there's a little bit of warping on this watercolor cardstock piece, so I'm going to use some double-sided sticky adhesive, and that's really going to help flatten that out. But I'm going to take my Misty and remove the foam piece. Now, it looks like I'm putting it in upside down. I'm actually doing this correctly. The fold of the card is on the edge of the Misty, and I do that because I'm going to be able to cut off a bit if the card base is too big. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So I pull off all my release paper, and the beauty about this tip is you're going to get perfect alignment because you have that 90-degree angle right in the corner. So I'm going to lay down my card panel onto my card base, and it's going to just fit right in there. And as you can see, I do have a little bit of extra white cardstock on the edge. So I'm just going to cut it off with my paper trimmer, and now I have my card looks perfect. I'm going to take my little pumpkins and try to figure out, I didn't like the straight up the middle piece, just personal preference. So I decided to kind of put them at a diagonal there on the card. And I'm going to do the first pumpkins. I'm going to lay those down flat. I don't think I mentioned this, but this, I might have put it in the beginning on the screen, but this pumpkin today, if you're watching this as the date of recording, is a freebie over at scrapbook.com. So go ahead and grab that up, throw it in your cart, make sure you do. And it's just super cute. If you're shopping over there, it's a free. I call them frees because you don't have to buy anything else to get it for free. I mean, you'd have to pay shipping, but it's a freebie. Okay, so there's the finished card. Little pop-up with some foam adhesive. Some are laid flat. I love it. It was so fun. I can't wait to make more Halloween cards. I feel like Halloween's the perfect time to dabble in mixed media because you can just make a hot mess on your card and it looks great for Halloween. All right, that's it. Don't forget to register for class. Join us. It'll be so fun. You have nothing to lose. Pay what you can. It's going to be a great time. Access to the replay, tons of resources involved as well. I will see you all in the comments down below and in the next video. Bye-bye.